What's up guys, this is Anime Crossover. I'm back with another episode of Forever Naruto with the legendary Silver Fox Part 12. And if you did enjoy this video, give this video a like, and if you're new to my channel and like my content, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more crossover fictions with the twist. Now let's begin this new video.
Grown, where am I? Anko wondered as she slowly regained consciousness and glanced around her, realizing it was twilight outside her window. This is my turret chamber. The last thing I recall was. Anko's thoughts were disrupted as she began to recall what had happened to her in the episode with the curse mark, and how Naruto and the ladies assisted her in breaking its hold on her. That's correct, I recall now. Naruto Koi and the others assisted me in breaking free from the curse mark. Anko glanced out her window and abruptly recalled Naruto and the others being coated in blackish-purple lighting after injecting her with their own chakra, causing Anko to worry and quickly pull herself out of bed. Darling, everyone. Thud 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 thud. Anko became more aware of her surroundings after hearing several thuds strike the floor. When she came face to face with Naruto, Kurenai, Kira, and Hinata, all distributed across the floor with spirals in their eyes, she extended her talons and prepared to strike. It's good to see you waking, Ankoheim. I'm so apologetic to everyone. I had no idea you were there. I mean, I would have felt you, or at the very least smelled you. How should I proceed? Anko, frenzied, pointed her ears down and her tails between her thighs. Naruto or you, barged Sasuke through the door with his blade drawn, Sakura, Ino, Haku, and Yugo close behind, only to be cut off mid-sentence by Anko blabbing apologies with Naruto, Kurenai, Hinata, and Kira on the floor looking like they just tumbled out of bed. Well, I guess there's really no point in asking at this point, is there? Said Sasuke, his comrades nodding in agreement as he supported a large perspiration drop. I guess I should go get the Hokage right now. After all, he did request that we notify him when Anko awoke to find out what had happened, Yugo explained. But first, Yugo said, his face impish. Yugo seized Sasuke's shirt collar and dragged him into an intense kiss, causing Sasuke to go wide-eyed for a second before wrapping his hands around Yugo's waist and dipped her, leaving Sakura, Ino, and Haku feeling left out. Keep this up, Sasuke-kun, and the girls and I will teach you many interesting techniques, Yugo said seductively. When Sasuke seized Ino with his tail and dragged her towards him, dipping her as well, Yugo and Sasuke let go of each other. Do you believe I'd play favorites with you girls? I could never do that, Sasuke responded to Ino's astonished expression. A few minutes later the Hokage appeared with several of his most loyal Anbu, the Jonin senseis, and the remaining members of the Rookie 14. Anko was sitting on top of her bed with a blanket covering her lower body and her trench coat covering her upper body. Anko, glad to see you awake. I'd like to hear about what happened during your meeting with Orochimaru. Naruto told us that when he first met you, you told him he wasn't himself. Would you like to elaborate? Of course, Hokage-sama. After we found the remains of the Chunin exam participants, I went into the forest to find Naruto Koi and the others. I didn't care about my vengeance against the serpent scoundrel back then, and I still don't. I was just concerned that Naruto Koi, Hinata-chan, and Kira-chan were secure from him. I searched the jungle for them until I felt a big chakra surge. Flashback. Anko was leaping from tree limb to tree branch at maximum speed towards the chakra spike when she noticed another chakra signature approaching her with a strong killer intent. Anko moved swiftly to her left, barely avoiding two kunai directed at her back. You're as sharp as ever, Anko-chan. Ha, ha, ha. Orochimaru, what exactly are you doing here? Anko snarled. Me? I'm just passing through, and I'm curious how Sasuke-kun is reacting to my little present, Orochimaru smirked. Hey, shouldn't you be troubling another little child with your taste rather than the Uchiha? After all, he'd rather have his prospective wives than some pedophile old guy, Anko smirked. Insolent brat, I'll cut off your cocky mouth. As much as I enjoy this trip down memory lane, you are still classified as an S-rank missing ninja, so it is my duty to take you down, Anko said as she pulled a hidden kunai from her sleeve and rushed at Orochimaru, who easily dodged all her strikes. Your abilities remain deficient, Anko-chan. You cowardly snake, don't look down on me. I'm going to kill you right now, and then I'm going to live with my precious person, Anko growled as Orochimaru leapt on top of a tree branch on top of her. Oh? You mean like your pitiful fox boy? Orochimaru smirked, causing Anko to widen her eyes. Ha, 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 Heh, it's not difficult to work out, Anko-chan. After all, you have fox characteristics like the other fox brats I've seen, such as that redhead, the Hyuga wench, and, of course, that pitiful little fox boy. Talk about the saucepan calling the kettle dark when you're a cradle thief yourself. Oh, Anko-chan, how enjoyable it was to fool them into believing they were about to defeat me, but I couldn't play for too long. However, before I left, I did manage to give the Uchiha a little farewell present, and I was a little interested in your little fox's seal, said Orochimaru, causing Anko to shake in rage. How dare you? Growled Anko. How dare you kidnap another innocent victim and make them into your guinea pig? How dare you touch my adored Naruto koi? Screamed Anko, running towards Orochimaru, her chakra flaring. Anko flexed her claws, striking Orochimaru's torso in the tree stem behind him. Anko withdrew her talons from the tree stem, taking a piece of tree bark in her hand and crushing it in her hands, and Orochimaru immediately transformed into mud. Anko rushed forward again, kneeing Orochimaru in the stomach and plunging her claws into his torso, only to have Orochimaru transform back into mud. Anko pulled several concealed kunai from her sleeve and tossed them at a nearby tree limb as Orochimaru began to materialize on top of it. Orochimaru opened his mouth, releasing a serpent that moved in a horizontal arc while opening its mouth, releasing a double-edged sword that parried all of the incoming kunai. So you forced me to use the Kusanagi, very good Anko-chan, but that was a mistake you'll regret in the afterlife. The snake spewed out the entire blade that looked like a GN with a jade jewel with a slit running right through the center, giving it the appearance of a snake's eye. Not before I rip out your beating heart, Anko snarled. How is this possible? Anko and Orochimaru charged at each other, parrying each other's swords. She can deflect every attack I make, striking shadow snakes, growled Orochimaru. Where is she getting all this power? Is it her connection to the brat? Several snakes emerged from Orochimaru's sleeve and moved towards Anko, opening their mouths and exposing venomous fangs. If you want to play striking shadow snakes that way. Several snakes emerged from Anko's sleeve, but they rapidly coiled around Orochimaru's snakes and squeezed together, causing the poisonous snakes to scatter. I had no intention of summoning constrictors. I meant to call poisonous snakes as well, Anko thought as she looked at the snakes she had summoned. Orochimaru sped through the Kusanagi, shooting straight for Anko's head, when her constrictor snakes abruptly reversed course and headed directly for Anko. Quickly, protect Mistress Anko, yelled the pack's purported commander in a feminine voice. The snakes attempted to halt the blade while dispersing into smoke in an attempt to alter the blade's path, with Orochimaru commanding the blade and slicing the approaching interlopers. Are you all right, my mistress? Questioned the feminine serpent from before, after successfully seizing the handle of the Kusanagi and throwing it in a random direction. Yes, thank you for rescuing me, but who are you? And why am I your mistress if most snakes are devoted to Orochimaru? Let's just say, an old friend of yours will always be loyal to you, the snake said, winking at Anko before dispersing. And dear acquaintance, I wonder who it is. And I thought all snakes made that strange hissing sound when they attempted to articulate the S word, a perplexed Anko mused. It appears that some unforeseen circumstances are beginning to arise, Orochimaru sneered as he called the Kusanagi back to his hand. Whatever, it's just a bunch of loose ends I have to tie up. While Anko's defense was down, Orochimaru rushed at her, grabbing her by the neck and throwing her against a tree trunk, leaving a human-sized crater. Orochimaru swiftly launched several snakes at her, tying her to the tree, while Orochimaru hurled a kunai at her shoulder, causing her to scream in agony. It's time for you to what's happening? Orochimaru screamed in pain, dropping the Kusanagi and holding his head as if clawing his eyeballs out. You may have taken over my body, but you won't defeat me so easily, said Orochimaru, his hands around his neck as if he was attempting to suffocate himself. Even if it means dragging you to damnation myself, Orochimaru said, stiffening his grip. How did you regain consciousness? Orochimaru wondered to himself. A parent will always come to his child's aid. Anko is like a daughter to me, and I'll happily give myself as long as I can bring you along. Orochimaru opened both his eyes, showing that his right eye had changed to a hazel brown eye with a normal pupil while his left eye remained the same yellow color with a slit pupil. The snakes that are tying Anko dissipate into a puff of vapor, freeing Anko. Anko, I can't keep him for long, I need you to kill us. Is this some sick joke, you snake bastard? Exclaimed a perplexed Anko. There's no time to explain, Anko, simply eliminate us before he escapes. What the hell is going on here? Is he playing some kind of mental game? Wondered a perplexed Anko. Anko quickly, he's getting loose. Orochimaru's hands were beginning to loosen while unsteadily shaking as if placing weight on them. Kill both me and the white snake before he regains possession of my body. I don't know what's going on, but I may never get another chance like this, thought Anko as she charged forward, ready to attack when the Kusanagi came at her with the blade emitting an eerie glow. Anko, look out! Yelled Orochimaru, only for Anko's claws to burst into flames that stretched out of her claws and quickly curved. The flames quickly dissipated, exposing twin shuttle swords with black leather handles and gold breaking points at the end of the handle, and the blades glowing red-hot as the three blades locked. What's going on? A perplexed Orochimaru inquired. Impossible, grumbled Orochimaru once more. Anko charged again, her two new weapons at her side glowing red-hot, spinning around and impaling the Kusanagi on the limb Orochimaru and Anko were standing on. As she charged towards Orochimaru, Anko shouted a combat call. This is the end for you, Orochimaru. He avoided it. Anko slashed her shuttle swords in an X motion, leaving a glowing red-hot wound where she cut Orochimaru, only to transform into a mud clone that rapidly hardened into clay. Pants, it appears that these impudent brats keep appearing wherever they aren't wanted, Orochimaru panted, holding his right eye in agony. I'll have to cut my losses here, but not before I leave you something, Anko-chan, Orochimaru said with a wicked grin. Orochimaru performed a half-tiger seal when Anko felt a surge of pain from her curse mark. Ah! Why, you be bastard, I'll get you for this, grunted Anko as the pain became too intense, forcing her to squat in agony. I apologize, Anko-chan, but this is where we part ways. Devastation, wind style. Anko was blown away by a powerful blast of wind, along with her two shuttle swords. Anko quickly seized her two shuttle blades, which were now glowing red-hot, and impaled them on a nearby tree trunk, attempting to slow her descent while leaving a heated path of where her sword sliced the tree. When she realized she was getting close to the ground, she swiftly removed her blades and concentrated her residual chakra on the sole of her foot, cushioning the impact. Anko's eyesight became blurred after landing on the ground, and she collapsed on the spot. Flashback comes to an end. The next thing I remembered was Naruto Koi and the others finding me on the floor where I had passed out, Anko recounted. But the worst of all, I'm going to murder that idiot for what he said. I am not a cradle river. Everyone's face flushed at Anko's remark, with the majority of them concurring with Orochimaru despite the age gap between Naruto and Anko. Anko observed everyone's expressions and knew exactly what they were thinking. Don't tell me you agree with him, too? Well, when you consider the age differences, don't you think it leads to that conclusion? Kakashi scratched the back of his skull, apprehensive. Naruto came up behind Anko and put his hands around her waist, saying, ignore them, my dango Haim, after all, I love you as much as my other mates, and for who you are. Anko began to rest and recline against Naruto's chest, with her head beneath his jawline and her ears facing down, her hands on top of Naruto's hands, and the blanket began to move, indicating that Anko shifted her thighs together and at an angle. Except for Neji, Sasuke, and Iruka, all the men began blushing at the scene, wondering, was Anko always this feminine? Ahem, Sasuke, what is this present that Orochimaru mentioned? Sarutobi regained his calm and asked. We knew we couldn't win against him in the forest because of the disparity in strength, so I devised a diversion plan that resulted in leaving behind a shadow clone with a large amount of chakra to withstand more impacts and blows, while the real us escaped to a safe distance away from him. According to my clone's recollection, he cursed it because he thought it was the genuine me. Fortunately, our clones dispersed after he departed, but the memories and agony he transmitted to us felt very real, even though the curse mark was not put on me, said Sasuke, removing his shirt to show he didn't have the curse mark. Way to go, my boy, that was quick thinking of you. So, Kira, you said you had some knowledge about this white snake? Yes, it's more like a story. My title is Kyuubi no Kitsune, the nine-tailed fox, as you all know, but what you don't know is that I am the third generation to hold that title. You see, long before the hidden villages were created, there were 9 creatures who worked directly under God, governing with the task of maintaining world peace and a balance of power between the elements. These 9 animals would then compete in a contest to determine what balance, or tail, as it were, they would symbolize in power. A raccoon dog, a cat, a shark, a cockatrice, a dog, a weasel, a badger, a serpent, and a fox were among the 9 animals. Once the tournament was finished, each animal had a representative tail. The raccoon dog became the Ichibi no Shukaku, the cat became the Nibi no Nekomata, the shark became Sambi no Isanade, the cockatrice became the Yanbi no Soko, the dog became the Gobi no Koko, the weasel became the Rokubi no Raiju, the badger became Shichibi no Kaku, the snake became the Hachibi no Habi, and of course the fox became the Kyubi no Kitsune. Because of their multiple tails and power, the creatures were eventually dubbed bijou, or tailed beasts. The tailed beasts also permitted various kinds of animals to exist within their territory as long as they followed the regulations established by the tail beast in command. Some of the tailed beasts took on apprentices from various animal species, and they ultimately found that some of the animals shared the same number of tails as their leaders, though not as powerful as the tailed beast. At this point in time, the human race was beginning to develop, with some coexisting within the tailed beast's territory without realizing it, or the tailed beast living within a human society using disguise so the humans wouldn't realize we were watching them. However, there was one tailed beast who despised people, the Hachibi no Habi. That vile monster hated his rank as Hachibi, only wanting to be the best. He wanted the title of Kyubi and was ashamed of his defeat against the Kyubi no Kitsune, and he saw them as weaklings, and at times, as food, said Kira in a disgusted voice, making everyone pale. The Hachibi no Habi repeatedly challenged the Kyubi for the crown, but each time the Hachibi was vanquished. The Hachibi's arrogant nature simply couldn't bear his constant defeat, always looking for a way to gain more power, but at that time all of the tailed beasts gathered for a meeting and decided to pass on their titles to the next generation. Each tailed beast had a tribe, and their offspring would compete in the competition alongside their parents. Ironically, the children had the same status as their parents, making my father the second-generation Kyubi no Kitsune and the Hachibi's son the second-generation Hachibi no Habi, making the first Hachibi even more despised the first Kyubi. However, the Hachibi's son was not bothered by his rank. In fact, he was so pleased with it that he changed the title from Hachibi no Habi to Yamada no Orochi because, well, mostly because his name was Yamada. You could say he was the polar opposite of his father. He liked humans, he got along well with everyone, and, due to some unforeseen event, he developed a perverted side to him that he would sneak into bathhouses, hot springs, and any other place he could find a naked human girl. Sweat dropped Kira at the end, causing everyone else to sweat. Sounds like someone I know, Sarutobi mused. However, the Yamada no Orochi kept his fascination with humans a secret from his father, but his father's hatred for the first Kyubi was so strong that he eventually committed one of the most serious crimes and biggest taboos ever. He ate God's angels in an attempt to steal their divine power and reign over the tailed beast in the world. Because of all the angels he ate, he gained 10 tails of strength and became known as the Jubi no Shiroi Deha, the 10-tailed white giant snake. The second-generation tailed beasts fought the Jubi and were easily defeated like lambs to the slaughter, but before the Jubi could make the final strike on the second generation, the first generation intervened, stating that it was their duty to bring down the Jubi no Shiroi Deha, and that their children would continue to protect and maintain the balance of power. The fight was brutal and endless as each of the first generation continued to fall before the Jubi that even my grandfather, the first Kyubi, was powerless to stop him, said Kira, shocking everyone. The Jubi tried to recruit his son to his side, and we thought he was successful at first, but then the Yamada no Orochi turned on his father and fought long and hard against one another when my grandfather rejoined the battle with renewed vigor to take down the foul beast. But it was all for naught because the Jubi still had the upper hand and was able to fatally wound the Kyubi and Yamada no Orochi. That is, until my grandmother appeared and joined forces with my grandpa to reverse the tide. So the power of 2 Kyubis combined was the Jubi's downfall, Sarutobi said quietly. You're wrong, Kira said quietly, drawing everyone's focus back to her. My grandmother was never a tailed beast, or any type of creature for that matter. My grandmother, was a saint in her own right. Everyone in the room was stunned by what Kira had just said, and the information she had said was still processing in everyone's minds. When the Jubi began to devour all the angels he could find, he was most interested in my grandmother. She was regarded as one of the most attractive and powerful angels in heaven, and the Jubi desired to take her power and destroy my grandfather's spirit by eating his beloved mate right in front of him, Kira lamented. However, before he could even touch her, my grandmother combined her power with my grandfather's to increase his power, as the Yamada no Orochi and my grandfather joined forces for one final attack. When my grandpa gave the final strike, the Yamada no Orochi had his father pinned down, ready to sacrifice himself, claiming it was his responsibility as the eight-tailed. My grandpa was known as the Silver Fox, the one who vanquished the 10-tailed white snake with the help of his loving companion and the Yamada no Orochi, a loyal friend and colleague. The second generation, despite being severely wounded, survived, but had to relinquish their titles to allow the next generation to carry on due to their weakened state. While some of the heirs were still too young to continue on the title, they were able to pass on their titles to some of their students, some of whom became the summon animals with which the ninja of today have obligations. The current generation consists of the Ichibi no Shukaku, the one-tailed raccoon dog, a direct descendant of the first Ichibi no Shukaku, the Nibi no Nekomata, the two-tailed cat, a direct descendant of the first Nibi no Nekomata, the Sambi no Kyodai game, the three-tailed giant turtle, an apprentice to the second generation of the Sambi no Icenade, the Yanai if you ask me, it's more like a bovine with a cephalopod. Trainee to the second generation Yamada no Orochi, and, of course, myself, Kira Yoko, the Kyuubi no Kitsune, straight descendant of the first generation Kyuubi no Kitsune. So everyone in the Canine Alliance has 9 tails because they all grew up in the same neighborhood as your grandfather? Sasuke inquired. Sometimes, but not always. Back then, the Gobi and the Kyuubi were both canine species, and some of the canine species would have 5 or 9 based on where they resided. That finally ended, thanks to my parents, by establishing the alliance, and when the new Gobi took on the title. That's also why everyone was taken aback by the hue of your hair. Despite the fact that the Kitsune clan has some angel blood in its history, no one in the clan has silver fur. However, when I marked you as my mate, some of my angel blood reacted with something inside you that caused you to gain silver fur, and possibly the same power as my grandfather did when my grandmother came to his aid, but this is still just a theory, Kira explained. If your grandfather defeated this white snake, how is he inside Orochimaru? Yugo wondered, as did everyone else. I wish I knew the answer, but all I know is the history behind him in the Silver Fox legend, Kira lamented. There's still something there. Now that we know a little bit about the adversary, we know he is not to be taken lightly. While he is no longer a vicious beast, he is still not to be underestimated because he has demonstrated the ability to control souls and has a potent array of jutsu at his disposal. I would counsel you all to be alert and cautious when facing this adversary. I'll alert the other Anbu and Jonin in the area, so be ready at any time, Sarutobi said commandingly. As for teams 7, 8, 9, and 10, you are to continue as if nothing has happened and await further orders until we've caught our spy. Does that make sense? Dismissed for now, sir. Each of the ninja present saluted the Hokage, and Anko, I suggest you take it easy and get a good night's rest. You have one more day before this part of the exam is completed. I get it, Hokage-sama. After everyone had gone, Naruto, Kira, Kurenai, and Anko were the only ones remaining in the room, with Anko still lying down against Naruto's chest. Dangoheim, that's new, Anko exclaimed. Well, it's because you're sweet like Dango, and I also know it's your favorite food, Naruto said, kissing behind one of Anko's ears, causing it to twitch, and because it can be quite addictive, Naruto said in a seductive voice, causing Anko to flush. Now, Naruto-kun, Anko still needs to rest, so no physical activities for anyone. Yet, Kurenai winked at Naruto, who was kissing Anko on the mouth before falling asleep. Hello to everyone. I know it's been a while, and I apologize, but I'm a very busy man, as is my brother, and I apologize for not getting these chapters out as quickly as I would like, but that's life and education for you. To compensate, this entire chapter is one giant lemon, and potentially the next one, I'm not sure, I'm still thinking about it. Also, just to clarify, once I finish this tale, I will fix the early chapters. So, once again, thank you for your time. Lemon cautioned when she felt a comfortable weight on top of her. Anko gently awoke from the sunshine piercing through the window. She glanced down to see Naruto between her well-endowed breasts, surrounded by the females who were snuggling up to her. Naruto began to nuzzle against her breast, causing Anko to flush while trying to conceal her groans as a result of the pleasant sensation she was experiencing as a result of her partner. When Naruto abruptly kissed one of her breasts, she let out a small whimper from her lips. The sound of his mate's pleasant moan caused Naruto's fox ears to quiver. Morning Dangoheim, you're looking beautiful, Naruto said as he slowly awoke to see Anko's flushed face. Good morning, darling, comfy? Anko inquired as she gingerly scratched one of Naruto's fox ears. Naruto was perplexed by her query when he carefully raised himself up, realizing he was on top of Anko, who was only wearing her fishnet blouse, which was completely translucent and gave him a good view of Anko's seductive upper body, and her mini skirt, which was slightly lifted, exposing her black underwear. Her ears were down, her eyes were glassy, and she had a cute look on her face with her tails entwined around Naruto's midsection. Naruto realized he was asleep on top of Anko and assumed she was furious with him. Anko, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm not angry at you, quite the opposite, I'm happy, Anko said, softly putting her finger on Naruto's lips and wrapping her arms around his neck, pulling him back between her breasts. Besides, I was just checking to see if you were comfortable, Anko smiled. Would you be upset if I said yes? Not really, but I'd probably encourage you to do it more often, Anko said, rubbing her breast against Naruto's forehead, making him purr with delight. Naruto began to kiss Anko's right breast softly while massaging her left breast. When she felt Naruto's firm boner rubbing against her groin, Anko groaned at the pleasurable feeling her partner was giving her. Ah, is that a hidden weapon, or are you just glad to see me? It's because of you and your erotic moaning, Naruto said, massaging Anko's breast. So soft, Naruto said, sucking on one of Anko's nipples through her fishnet blouse, causing Anko to whimper even louder. Someone's having fun, Kurenai said, pressing her breast against Naruto's back. Is this how you plan to wake us up from now on, Naruto-kun? Only if you want me to, Naruto purred, pressing Kurenai's breast against him. Naruto noticed Kurenai was wearing a fishnet blouse similar to Anko's that exposed her upper body, as well as a red panties. My, Kurenai, I had no idea you wore such daring clothes. I thought you might like it, Kurenai purred as she continued to rub her breast against Naruto's head. But you know what might feel better? Kurenai smirked as she pressed against Naruto's back, his head sandwiched between Anko's and Kurenai's breast, their nipples rubbing against each other, making both women moan in pleasure. No fair, we want to join too, Hinata grumbled as Kira removed her blouse and bra. If it's pleasuring Foxy-kun, I'm always ready, an enthusiastic Kira said. Go ahead girls, show how much we love our beloved mate, Anko said as Kurenai lifted herself off of Anko and Naruto, with Hinata and Kira sandwiching Naruto's head between their breasts, making Naruto purr in content. Naruto then began suckling on Kira's breast, causing Kira to groan in delight. Ah! Foxy-kun, please suck a little harder. More. I'd like to feel more. Ah! Kira threw her head back in delight as Naruto fulfilled his friend's request. Hinata sat back on the bed next to Anko, with Naruto between her breasts and Kira on top of Naruto as he sucked on her breast. Kurenai and Anko undid Naruto's trousers, exposing his underwear with a tent sticking up, making Anko salivate. See anything you like? Kurenai inquired, removing Naruto's underwear and exposing his erect cock. Yes, I do, Anko said as she removed her fishnet blouse, followed by Kurenai. Trust me, it feels better once you ride him, Kurenai said, stroking Naruto's manhood and licking the tip. Can't wait, Anko said, licking Naruto's cock with Kurenai as they ardently kissed each other with Naruto's cock between their mouths. Kurenai let Anko take Naruto's member into her mouth, savoring the taste of her partner while deciding to lick Naruto's shaft whenever Anko raised herself. I want more. It's so delectable and so large. I want to taste his cum, Anko exclaimed, quickening her speed, causing Naruto to thrust upwards into Anko's lips. Damn. Kurenai Himes and Anko Himes' tongues feel fantastic. I can't keep going. Naruto's musings were disrupted when he pushed his cum into Anko's lips, releasing it inside her mouth. So much, so thick, murmured Anko in a dreamlike state while collecting some sperm from her breast and licking it off her fingertips. Hey now, don't be greedy and share with your harem sisters, Kurenai said as she kissed Anko and took some sperm from her lips. Hinata and Kira released Naruto's head and assisted in cleaning Anko's breast, causing Anko to groan in Kurenai's kiss. Naruto watched his friends have an erotic moment, making him erect again, which Anko, who was softly massaging his manhood, noted. Kurenai and Anko's kiss was broken when Hinata spontaneously kissed Anko as well, causing both girls to moan. I think the more appropriate term would be harem lovers, said Kira after Hinata's turn, kissing Anko. Since you haven't mated with Naruto-kun yet, Anko-chan, we'll go take a shower and leave the two of you alone for a while. But then you have to share, okay? Kira inquired, with Hinata and Kurenai nodding in agreement because they'd already paired with Naruto once, while Anko didn't get her opportunity because the Chunin exam's second test began right after she was marked. Before Anko could answer, Kurenai, Kira, and Hinata headed to the restroom, leaving Naruto and Anko alone while staring at the bathroom door. "It appears that we will be spending some quality time together, Dango Heim," Naruto said, grabbing Anko from behind and rubbing her big breast. "You have a stunning appearance." "No, I probably look like a mess," Anko groaned, blushing at his compliment. "That's not true, you always look beautiful," Naruto said, ardently kissing Anko, "and your lips taste so sweet, it's addicting." "Moan, you're being mean, darling, saying embarrassing things like that while rubbing my breasts," Anko said with an adorable pout on her lips. "Chuckle, sorry, I can't help myself if it's true, they're just so soft and wonderful," Naruto said softly pinching Anko's nipples, making Anko whimper even louder. "Could your lovely breasts be my Heim's weak point?" "More, please keep rubbing them," Anko murmured as Naruto's hands ran over her body, attempting to recall every contour. "To think I'm engaged to one of the most beautiful women in the village, and she's quite the temptress." "Then I'll seduce you every night until you're tempted to make love to me," Anko said, stroking Naruto's whiskered face. "Or you could just ask me," Naruto murmured. "Where's the fun in that?" Anko asked seductively as Naruto laid her down and kissed her fiercely. Anko interrupted the embrace by removing Naruto's shirt, exposing him fully. He rubbed both of Anko's breasts, making her groan in delight once more as he sucked on her nipple while massaging her other breast with his free hand as he traveled down her toned midsection and up her skirt, stroking her moist pussy concealed behind her black underwear, increasing Anko's moans. "Your pants are wet, Anko Heim. Did you get this way while I was rubbing your breast?" "Darling, it's ah. Darling, it's ah. Darling, it's extremely humiliating. Ah. It feels so good," Anko moaned as Naruto abruptly ceased making Anko moan in dismay. Naruto snatched Anko's skirt and underwear, dragging them down her long legs. Naruto began kissing Anko's feet and up her legs until he came to a halt and carefully separated Anko's legs, showing her wet crotch. Anko blushed as she felt Naruto's air against her wet folds. Naruto began lapping slowly, causing Anko to arch her back at the unexpected sensation of Naruto's tongue. Naruto continued to kiss Anko's wet folds, spurred by Anko's groans. "Ah, darling, please don't stop. Don't give up. More, please, ah." Anko snatched Naruto's head, attempting to entice him to tongue deeper into her creases. Anko was on the verge of having her climax when Naruto abruptly began fiddling with her clit. Anko's groans became louder as she raised her back again, and Naruto took advantage by massaging her firm buttocks. Naruto gingerly nibbled on Anko's clit, making her shriek in ecstasy just as she came into Naruto's ready mouth, causing her thigh to spasm. "Anko Heim tastes sweet like Dango," Naruto thought as he tasted his partner. "I was correct, she is addicting." Naruto completed scooping up all of Anko's sperm while kissing her crotch one last time before lifting himself up and kissing Anko. The tongues of Anko and Naruto twirled, with Anko sampling her own cum inside Naruto's lips. "Ready for the main event, Anko Heim?" Naruto broke the kiss as Anko had a glazed expression in her gaze. Anko nodded her head as Naruto positioned himself at Anko's entry, one of her legs over his shoulder. "I guess you were bound to find out," Anko moaned at the sudden sensation of Naruto slowly entering her as he continued to stretch her until he realized he felt something lacking as he glanced at Anko, who had a concerned expression on her face. "I once dated a guy who I believed appreciated me a lot, and I ended up giving him my virginity. He turned out to be only interested in having intercourse with me. He was bragging the next day about having tamed the snake woman. I was so embarrassed and horrified with myself that I'm sorry, MMPH." Naruto cut Anko off by kissing her and rubbing her breasts. Anko groaned into the kiss as Naruto's tongue entered her lips, intensifying the kiss as their tongues danced and twirled around each other. This went on for a few minutes, with Naruto doing gentle thrusts that made Anko whimper, until Naruto broke the embrace, saying, "Do you really think I would care if you were a virgin or not, Anko Heim? I adore you exactly as you are, maiden or not. Besides, it feels really good to be inside you, so tight," murmured Naruto, burying himself deep inside Anko, causing her to exclaim at the unexpected sensation. "Well, you're definitely bigger than he was, and more gentle," she added. "Ever since I rescued you the first time, I've seen what a wonderful person you've become, and I've always hoped to meet someone like you. To think I'd end up with the person I'd idolized for so long," Anko exclaimed as Naruto's cock contacted her in a sensitive place, causing Naruto to cease imagining he'd injured his hymen. Sorry, I'm not used to having sex, and my only experience wasn't the most pleasant either, Anko said as Naruto thrust into her while Anko moaned at the pleasurable feeling. It's okay, we'll take it slow, Naruto said as both partners shared another private kiss. It's beginning to feel so wonderful, Anko thought as Naruto gradually increased his speed. Anko began to moan loudly, urging Naruto to thrust faster while bending down to kiss Anko to stifle her moaning. I never knew making love could feel so wonderful. Anko was overcome with delight as her mate ardently kissed her. It's as if my entire body has become hypersensitive. Even Naruto Koi's tongue feels great. Ah. Darling, keep pushing at that same place. Ah. More. I'd like to feel that big shaft inside of me. Ah. I want you to stuff your thick sperm into my cervix. Pounce on me until I can't move. My, someone likes to speak a little filthy, Naruto said sulkily, stopping his motions and causing Anko to grind into him in an attempt to relive the pleasant feeling. Darling, please keep going. Don't make me laugh. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to speak vulgar anymore. It's not that hymen, I like it, Naruto said with a smile. I just want to know what position you prefer. What? Anko reddened. Missionary work is fun, but I also want to know what you like, Naruto smiled. Well, can I come out on top? So firm, purred Naruto as Anko carefully raised herself up while groaning in content as Naruto shifted their positions so Anko was on top straddling him while his hands wandered all over Anko's back halting at Anko's buttocks. Naruto tightened his grip on Anko's buttocks just as she increased her pace, making her groan even louder than before. Naruto's left hand then rose from Anko's solid butt and began to stroke the bottom of one of her tails, sending pleasurable shivers up Anko's spine and increasing her pace as she rode Naruto once more. Naruto groaned in delight, pushing upwards to equal Anko's pace, forcing Anko to ride him harder than before. That's all there is to it, hymen. More. Work as hard as you want. Darling, I'm cum. Ah, Anko shrieked with delight as she approached, covering Naruto's shaft in her pussy fluid. Naruto raised himself up, hugging Anko and thrusting his entire body into her, extending Anko's climax. Naruto couldn't hold on much longer after several strikes. Hymen. I can't go on much longer. Within me. Kukum inside of me. Hymen. Darling. Naruto and Anko panted heavily, both lovers clutching each other as Naruto entered Anko, mingling their love juice, both lovers basking in the radiance of their activity. So much cum is inside me. It feels so good, Anko shivered with delight. Are you alright, Dango hymen? You're trembling like a leaf, a concerned Naruto inquired. Don't worry, darling. I've never come that hard before. Not even that jerk could make me feel this wonderful. Anko panted as another delightful jolt ran up her spine as Naruto lightly stroked one of her tails, causing her to have another climax. Groan. You're squeezing me really hard, Dango hymen, almost as if you're trying to milk me dry. Is that a bad thing? After all, you're still as rigid as a boulder, Anko grumbled against Naruto's cock, causing Naruto to come inside Anko once more. Groan. I'm sorry, it appears that I'm also a little sensitive. It's okay, I love the feeling of you being inside me, Anko purred as they kissed, Naruto laying Anko down. Lemons and Ahem, both partners, interrupted their embrace when they noticed Kurenai, Hinata, and Kira gazing at them and blushing at the scene. I told you he felt wonderful after you rode him, Kurenai said. After hearing Anko-chan's erotic moaning, we couldn't take a shower. We wanted to participate as well, Kira said. What do you say, darling, shall we take a bath together? Anko and Naruto just looked at each other, gently laughing at what Kira had just said. In a seductive tone, Anko inquired. I can't wait for our honeymoon if this is what we're going to do every day. Neither can we, Naruto-kun, Hinata said. To be continued.
That's it for this part, guys. Thanks for listening to this video. If you did enjoy this part of the story, like, share, subscribe for more, and thank you all for your help and support, and have a great day.